Welcome to the Dissent Agenda. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Cody. We're just two loudmouths with Wi-Fi, a mic, and zero tolerance for bad politics.
Every week, we dig through the dumpster fire that is national politics, so you don't have to. From clown car congressional hearings to billionaires cosplaying as patriots, we call it out and call it what it is.
Then we bring it home, literally. Stick around for our Locals Only segment where we spill the tea about what's going on right here in Virginia Beach.
Because what happens in Washington doesn't stay in Washington. It shows up at our school board, our city council, and on our grocery bill. This is the Dissent Agenda. Let's get into it.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's been a few weeks again.
It's been
a few weeks
Did we
again.
say we were going to be consistent with this? I don't know, but as soon as we make that commitment, we're like, yeah, we should just know that that's just not going to work.
Life is so busy.
Life is busy.
All of the time.
I know.
To be fair, 1 week I was just sick.
Mm-hmm. You are.
I was just sick. But in those few weeks, once again, like basically the whole world has changed. But now we're on the verge of war with Iran.
We are. Mm-hmm.
We got to go to Richmond.
Yeah, we did get to go to Richmond.
And
we did. That was a great time. We went and did lobby day with ACLU. And then Cody and I ended up doing like an impromptu like school board
activism workshop
with like 30 people. It's what it kind of turned into, I feel like, but it was cool. That was super cool. Yep. It was just like one question after another. So then Cody and I were just like, but we always like work so well together anyways, and in a crowd especially. So that was like fun. And then we went and because we took Suzanne with us, and we went up to the gallery while in the House of Delegates, and we watched them do some readings. Like a lot of it was second readings.
Yeah, it's just second readings, just real.
But it was great. Like I learned about some bills that were being presented that I didn't even know, that were up. So that was cool. Yeah, I thought that was super fun. But like, I don't know about you, but these Epstein files got me in a chokehold, bro. Like I can't look away. I can't not search them. There's this website you can go to that's jmail.world, and that is the website.
Jmail.world.
Okay.
J-A-Y or just J?
Just the letter J.
Just the letter
like
Jmail.
Jmail instead of Gmail.
Gotcha.
And they
Jmail.world.
set this thing up like a Google inbox. And so it's searchable just like you would your Gmail account.
Okay.
Then they also have like a photo, like kind of like a drive, like where it's like, but they use the symbols, and like you can look at his flights. There's one for just flights.
Just all itemized.
There's one for videos, there's one for pictures, and then there's one for PDFs. And then you can search in the inbox. They even have it like categorized. So just like starred folders or whatever, like you can go in and like, if you want to read all the emails between him and Steve Bannon, you can read you can just click on Steve Bannon and it just pulls up like your Gmail, just like that. It's wild. It's wild how like they literally carbon copied essentially how like a Google account works, and it's strictly for Epstein stuff. But it's also like really super disturbing too. And I definitely like I didn't need to look into the Epstein files to know that this stuff happened, or to believe that this stuff happened. Like I believed it before you could access it. Right. One, I'm a morbidly curious person, and like to my own probably like detriment. And but it's just like, Cody, these are some depraved people.
Oh, there's no accountability in your life.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because these people are so rich and they're so connected that
they probably view themselves as a completely different species from the rest of humanity.
Yeah, and like, and on top of that, they like talk about some weird fucking shit, bro. Like, speaking of thinking they're special species, I mean, they're all into this crazy like eating, babies because under a certain age and stem cells and like, I mean,
I watched a whole video the other day of basically these two ultra rich gentlemen, and this was an older video. It was from like the 90s or something like
that. With the 3 black women?
Yes.
Bro, stop. I just saw that video like last week. When he was like $100 and that woman was like, it's more, you're gonna have to be more than that. Yeah. And then the other guy was like,
I'll buy $60,000 worth
of your eggs. And then talking about how like your period blood is rich in stem cells. I'm sorry, trigger warning for people. Like, we're about to talk about some stuff. I'm so sorry. I probably should have already done that trigger warning, but like, this is just some sick ass shit. And like,
and just, this is something to be said about this, because I don't think this is said enough in a lot of these conversations. This is not a left thing or a right thing, a Democrat, Republican. This is a rich person thing.
People who don't give a shit about you and me.
And there are no sides at a certain income level.
That's correct. They're all just,
it's just
fucking
all
depraved.
Yeah, this is a rich person thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is not right. This doesn't have anything to do with, I mean, it is layered in politics because we're all so played. Like they're just playing in our fucking faces. They're controlling the stock market. Listen, I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy theorist, y'all. I promise you, I'm not. Also, anything I say, I am not suicidal. Like, I'm telling people are starting to make videos like this that like I am not suicidal. I'm very, very happy. Like, but like, this shit will get your mind so twisted because it just, one, how long it's gone on, two, like the globalness of it, the depravity of the things that they did, and 6 administrations. 6. It is like, this stuff has gone on through 6 different administrations, starting with Clinton in the 90s. I do believe there's a claim prior to Maria Farmer in 1996. I haven't been able to I haven't dug into that yet, but I know Maria Farmer's was in 1996, when she went to the FBI. So, this has gone through it, and no one in the DOJ has done justice for any of these victims.
I mean, there's some pretty strong opinions that it was a Mossad operative.
Well, I think I'm pretty certain. I mean, Maxwell's dad was a Mossad agent, and I mean, he had that whole mysterious yacht accident or whatever. Not mysterious. And then Maxwell and Epstein, she inherited all that money, and so I mean, it's pretty well known that he had Israeli and even just his connection to the prime minister and all of that. I mean, I don't know if he's alive or not, but there's rumors going around on the internet, that he could be alive and that he's living in Israel if he's alive. Which my thing is I don't know. It's fucking believable. I'm not ruling anything out these days,
I mean, there was a time when stuff that we talk about every single day would have been, you could have said it and nobody'd believe it. And now so much crazy crap has happened over the last, 8 to 12 years.
Yeah.
That you could say anything. Yeah. You can say anything, and just about anybody will just be like, that's
wouldn't shock me.
Not surprised at all.
Well, except there's an entire group of people that refuse to believe, even though the pattern will tell you. The pattern, if you just take your fucking feelings out of it, and you just look at the pattern of behavior and the accusations and all of the things, there's an entire group of people that do not believe that Donald Trump could possibly have done any of these things. Not all the 27 women that have credibly come out and accused him. No, that's not enough. The 10-year-old girl on the escalator who said that he would be dating her in 10 years. Nope. That time he was on Howard Stern when he talked about, going into the Miss Teen USA pageants into their dressing rooms, and they were these teenage girls were unclothed, and he didn't ask for permission. Nobody, not, that's not a big deal. I mean, you can't tie any of those things together. You just can't, you can't. And so, and I think that's the most frustrating thing about this with the Epstein files, is that I know it's hard for people who really believed in that man, really believe that I don't know how, but I'm just saying, okay, you did. You gotta, how do you look at your children? How do you look at your grandchildren? And still not be enraged by this class of men? I don't know how. So there's that whole class of people. But the rest of us, we're like, yes, we believe it. We can believe it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you the thought either. I mean, there's a whole group of people that protect billionaires.
Well,
even though they'll never be ones themselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they simp so hard for rich people.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you what. You're way closer to being homeless than you are to being a billionaire.
Got it. Exactly. Yep. That's exactly right. And just all this, that again, the money and how, we're talking about some national security implications because of obviously the Mossad connections, Peter Thiel and Palantir. These are some really they were controlling, there's a text message between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein that says that he just got Trump to do $400 million in tariffs. These people were openly manipulating people inside the United States government, and have essentially, in my opinion, infiltrated the United States government and are running a shadow government, which is what they talk about, how they were talking all the time about a shadow government, right? And they were like, oh, there's a shadow government. Yeah, that was y'all. That you literally the Steve Bannon feeding the fucking 8chan and 4chan, that there's a shadow government. And he's laughing at y'all. He's laughing at all of you. These people have just laughed all the way to the fucking bank about how just dumb people were to believe these things. And it was all projection. And so I'm going to read this press release about the UN from the United Nations, because what has happened is that although the United States, our government is trying to say, Donald Trump said, we just need to move on. He said that multiple times. Pam Bondi's interview or testimony in front of the congressional committee last week was my blood pressure was just boiling, how much Pam Bondi was lying on this, just sitting there at the table, just flat out lying, and then trying to throw bombs at the people asking questions.
The blatant lying and level of incompetence.
It's wild.
Trump broke his own record with how low approval ratings were especially with independent voters.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It's just shedding. You have people like Nancy Mace demanding
right. Whoa.
That Bondi and people in his cabinet lose their job.
Right.
That's
but notice also how he's put all women in all of these positions. Here's the thing. Trump only cares about yes people. So he doesn't care if you're good at your job. He doesn't care about incompetence. It does not matter. I mean, look at Kash Patel, right? Pam Bondi, Catherine Levitt. I mean, Catherine Levitt is
better if you're not.
Right. It's better. Right. It's better if you're not, because, you know, you're just a simp for him. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but he's put women, you've got Tulsi Gabbard, you have Carolyn Levitt, you have Kristi Noem, and then who am I missing? Who's another? Pam Bondi. Like those 4 women, right? All heads of, you know, agencies, the top dogs and agencies that are miserably failing right now. And he's just setting them up for failure. I mean, Caroline Levitt's not really an agency; she's the press secretary, but I mean, she's the forward-facing person to spew the garbage that Trump wants her to spew, and she's doing it happily, right? And so, but what's happened is that in light of that 3 million document drop that happened on January 30th, a lot of stuff has come out. And a lot of people are resigning their positions, especially in Europe. And some European governments have now opened investigations because it was a global enterprise.
Yeah, it's like they did a casting for a show or a movie.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of an actual, you know, cabinet that leads the country.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's exactly. It was like a casting. It was a casting call.
That's what it feels like to me. Is like if you took somebody that plays a doctor on TV and actually had them be a real doctor, this is what would happen.
This is what would happen. That's exactly right. This is what would happen. So since a lot, like it's really rocking, shit's getting rocked over there across the pond. And I mean, even some sultan also like resigned or something. I can't remember who that was, but we're seeing some stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
And the United Nations did a press release 2 days ago, and this is from Geneva. The so-called Epstein files contained disturbing, incredible evidence of systematic and large-scale sexual abuse, trafficking, and exploitation of women and girls, UN experts said today. And these experts are the people at this is a press release from the United Nations Human Rights Council, the Office of the High Commissioner. They got this information from a group of experts that serve on this council. According to the experts, these acts could amount to sexual slavery, reproductive violence, enforced disappearance, torture, inhumane and degrading treatment, and femicide. These crimes were committed against a backdrop of supremacist beliefs, racism, corruption, extreme misogyny, and the commodification and dehumanization of women and girls from different parts of the world, the experts said. The Epstein files, which are suggestive of the existence of a global criminal enterprise, have shocked the conscience of humanity and raised terrifying implications of the level of impunity for such crimes. So grave is the scale, nature, systemic character, and transnational reach of these atrocities against women and girls that a number of them may reasonably meet the legal threshold of crimes against humanity, they said. Under international criminal law, crimes against humanity occur when acts such as sexual slavery, rape, enforced prostitution, trafficking, persecution, torture, or murder are committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack against a civilian population with knowledge of the attack. The experts warned the components' reported patterns may meet this threshold, and these crimes must be prosecuted in all competent is key, national and international courts. All the allegations contained in the Epstein files are egregious in nature and require independent, thorough, and impartial investigation, as well as inquiries to determine how such crimes could have taken place for so long, they said. The disclosure process is taking place under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed into law on 19 November 2025. On 30 January 2026, after delays, the Department of Justice released a major tranche of material, including more than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. Despite the scale of disclosures, experts warned of serious compliance failures and botched redactions that exposed sensitive victim information, with harm often occurring before records were withdrawn. Accountability has been limited, with only one close associate under investigation. Well, because, Epstein died. Under international human rights law, states are obligated to prevent, investigate, and punish violence against women and girls, including acts committed by private actors. The grave errors in this release process underscore the urgent need for victim-centered standard operating procedures for disclosure and redaction so that no victim suffers further harm, they said. The experts hailed the courage and resilience of victims in seeking accountability at significant personal cost. A group of these survivors recently met with the UN Special Rapporteur on violence against women and girls. The failure to safeguard their privacy puts them at risk of retaliation and stigma. The reluctance to fully disclose information or broaden investigations has left many survivors feeling re-traumatized and subjected to what they describe as institutional gaslighting. The experts urged U.S. authorities to urgently remedy these failures, ensure full disclosure to understand methods of the criminal enterprise, full remedy, and reparation for all.
You won't silence us.
No, right? U.S. Navy trying to silence us. Reparation for victims for all harms sustained and end impunity for perpetrators. Statutes of limitations preventing prosecution of grave crimes attributed to the Epstein criminal enterprise must be lifted. Any suggestion that it is time to move on from the Epstein files is unacceptable. It represents a failure of responsibility towards victims, they said. Resignations of implicated individuals alone are not an adequate substitute for criminal accountability, the experts said. They welcomed steps by some governments to probe current and former officials and private individuals named in the files. They called on other states to do the same. Failure by governments to effectively investigate and prosecute those responsible for these crimes, included by complicity or acquiescence where jurisdiction exists, risks undermining legal frameworks aimed at preventing and responding to violence against women and girls, they warned. It is imperative that governments act decisively to hold perpetrators accountable, the experts said. No one is too wealthy or too powerful to be above the law. So.
Well, it's interesting, it says the UN met with survivors, but at least.
But Donald Trump hasn't.
But the DOJ hasn't.
DOJ hasn't. But the UN has
managed to do that.
They've figured out a little spot, somewhere to come in and talk to them. But Pam Bondi's too busy eating salads at DC restaurants. So yeah, I just don't know, if we're. I just don't think people are enraged enough.
The world's view of us is terrible right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's. The European Parliament just spent a great amount of time talking about.
Well, they asked for Keir Starmer's resignation in England, right?
Yeah.
The Prime Minister. They're like, you appointed Mandelson, who popped up in the files, who was the U.S. ambassador, or the English ambassador to the U.S., I should say. And he was appointed by Keir Starmer.
Yeah, and
he was found in pictures in his underwear with young girls in the picture. Because you're a disgusting human. You just do not know. And there's videos of torture. There's, with
it was a lot more than parties and airplanes.
It was a lot more than parties and airplanes. Zorro Ranch. Oh, the guy bought some guy that's running for the Texas comptroller. Republican, of course, bought the Zorro Ranch, and he's gonna turn it into a Christian retreat. Yeah, bro, kids.
Good for you.
Kids were tortured and murdered on that property. He said he's gonna bless it back to God. And also the shit that was going on at Zora Ranch is also so fucked up, y'all. Like, and there's like a biolab close by to the ranch, and they think that was like intentional. And I'm telling you, they had a straight up like eugenics lab going on at Zora Ranch, and that's where they were trying to do like a child breeding farm. Epstein wanted to have like 20 women at a time impregnated and like staying there at the ranch, and like he was like putting his seed out there to have a bunch of little fucking Epsteins running around. I mean, these people are sick, twisted fucks, Cody. So anyways, that's all I got to say about the Epstein files. And Republicans, y'all need to get in there and look at them Epstein files, because it's fucking disgusting that you like Jen Kiggins is pretending she's just burying her head, Jen Kiggins, and not going in and looking the files.
And here's the thing is if everybody sees something you don't, you should probably at least look before you say it's not there.
That's right. Exactly. Like, at least look for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And like that, and like, I don't care who's in the fucking files. I don't care what political party they belong to. I don't care who their mama is. I don't care how many kids they have,
how much money they make,
how much money they make,
how many people they employ.
I don't care about any of that. Burn it down. Burn it down, because there are plenty of capable people to do the jobs that need to be done.
And here's the thing is, this is the real trick, the real pill that everybody swallowed, is somehow they've convinced, the majority of us, it seems, that we need the rich.
Yeah.
That we need them, that we need the billionaires.
Yeah.
And somehow to way too many people, that statement makes sense. We do not need the billionaires.
No.
They're the easiest part of society to replace.
And also, like, and it's not like because they worked so hard. Like, these people, it's all on unearned income. Their values are just on paper. And I mean, most of them didn't even work. I mean, literally, Donald Trump is an example. Like, that man never worked a day in his life.
It was Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk, right? Like, it's unearned income. They started with millions and millions of dollars. Any knucklehead, potato could.
It's easy to be rich when you're born rich.
Right. You can turn that money into something, and then pretend that you're working when no, you're not. Like, you're not working hard.
Well, and I mean, it's also way easy to succeed when you have all of the resources you need to do it.
Right.
Like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, when you can get into the business school when you're an idiot.
Yeah. It's a lot of difference between a successful business and unsuccessful business is startup capital.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. And so, which like brings me to a whole other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is like how much money Donald Trump has made off of the presidency, off of this country. And like, miss me with Nancy Pelosi. Okay. I don't know what her husband's name's Paul or something. Paul Pelosi was like a commercial real estate god or whatever the fuck he was. And like some kind of had all kinds of investments and was exponentially wealthy before Nancy Pelosi. But do I believe Nancy Pelosi did insider stock trading?
Yeah, I think.
Fuck yeah, she did.
So many of them do. I mean,
so many of them do.
At the end of the day, you get far enough into this and you realize that it's a rich people thing.
Again, we're back to a rich people thing.
It's not a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. They're both doing it.
They're both doing it. Okay, both doing it. You'll never hear me say anything different. And I have a great example. A congressional candidate in our CD2 is a perfect example of a Democrat who has made money off of her NVIDIA stocks that she got when she was in Congress, or at least have exponentially doubled since she's been in Congress, because now they're worth $25 million apparently. And I guess I think I want to say in 2018 when she was maybe worth like maybe $1 million, but now she's worth like 25 million and has a bunch of NVIDIA stock and shit like that. So anywho, Elaine Luria, who I will not be voting for in the primary. I will do a fucking write-in before I ever vote for Elaine Luria. But that's not what we're here to talk about right now. We're talking about Well, actually, yeah, no, it is. Actually, no, yeah, it is actually. But Donald Trump has made like $4 billion. I was going to say trillion, but that's not true. $4 billion. He has increased his wealth since taking the presidency by $4 billion. And we have in our Constitution an Emoluments Clause. And basically, it's a really super fancy word, because they had to use all these fancy words back then. It's a fancy word for saying like, hey, don't make no fucking money for personal gain off of the office of the presidency. Pretty much, like that's like you can't get gifts.
Shouldn't of any
right
right office of public service, you should be not allowed to turn it into a profit generating enterprise.
Right. Exactly. Right. It's crazy concept, right?
Yeah.
So it's in the Constitution. It's foreign or domestic emoluments clauses, which bar federal office holders, including the president, from receiving gifts, payments, or benefits from foreign or domestic governments without consent of Congress and beyond their official salary. I do think there's maybe like it's under $200 or something that maybe they can accept, like $200, like I have that in my purse, like $200, like right, pair of shoes. I don't know. I mean, just kidding. I mean, well, I would be lying if I said I didn't have shoes that cost more than $200, because I do. But I've had them for a really long time too. So there's some question, like three very question, like he's only been in office for like 13 months. And in that time,
feels like forever.
It does feel like forever. But in that time, Qatar, of course, there was the transfer of the $400 million jet that came out super early, like right after he came in office. I mean, that happened. It was like May of 2025. Apparently, Trump pursued and facilitated the acceptance of a luxury Boeing 747-8 aircraft, reportedly offered by the royal family of Qatar, valued at around $400 million, to be used as interim Air Force One and later transferred to his presidential library, which, by the way, like it's absolute bullshit that it was going to be an interim Air Force One, because to get that jet, let's not talk about how much money it would take to get that to be Air Force One. It would take the remaining amount of his term for Boeing
to actually retrofit it. It's not
right. So it's going to get retrofitted to be Air Force One to then be put in a presidential library. What the fuck are we doing? This is taxpayer money. This is nothing. There's nothing conservative about that. And also, it then goes to his presidential library. And once it's retrofitted, he probably will use it and have some kind of excuse for after he's not president anymore, if he is still, not, if he's still breathing, because, he's like a dinosaur. But like, it's just silly. It's just, again, their personal wealth, right? So that's questionable, right? Then you had in early 2025, before and just after, so before his inauguration and just after his second inauguration, the announcement and sale of Trump branded crypto coins. It was the dollar sign Trump. It of course drew ethics concerns because of conflicts of interest and potential value being tied to presidential influence. Like fucking hello, they're fucking meme coins with his name. Of course, his cult members will buy them.
I mean,
like, what do you?
It's been wild since the beginning. How many presidents have you seen in your life? I mean,
me? Okay,
one more than we, maybe, right?
I was born during Carter.
Yeah, and I was born at the very beginning of Reagan.
Okay, which brings me Carter. Carter sold his fucking peanut farm, his family fucking farm. He sold it when he became president, so that he could not make any commercial profit off of his commercial farmer, his peanut farm.
In all of that time, we've seen, a number of presidents.
Yes.
A much larger number of presidential candidates.
Yes.
And I've never seen a single one sell a Bible, a shoe,
a gun,
a watch,
mm-hmm. Oh God, what else?
a thing. I mean,
just the things. I mean,
we can keep listing.
And the Bible. You know, the Bible didn't have all the amendments in it.
Just the ones that they liked.
Just the ones that he liked. I think it was like 1 through 10. I think it was 1 through 10. I don't even. It was. We didn't even have the 13th, 14th, 15th.
Just
yeah,
like
he
the,
did. He
just
like
the
yeah.
The Bill of Rights.
He was like, yeah, you don't. He's like, you don't. Yeah, you're right.
You don't need the Constitution. Just.
Oh yeah. Maybe it was more than the 10, but like it was. Maybe it was like the 12. I cannot remember, but I absolutely know that the important ones.
But it was not 27.
I know that the important ones, okay, that, you know, when they say he's not a racist, I don't know that whole thing about, you know, slavery and such. I mean, that's a little bit later. What are we in the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment? So like he left those out. Anyways. And then the last one that, you know, popped up in my research was of course, the cryptocurrency company, which, I mean, y'all, cryptocurrency is a fucking Ponzi scheme. Like already, like period. Okay. Like full stop before we talk about any ownership of any crypto coin. Okay. First and foremost, Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to come out. Okay. Bitcoin was started by, there were several programmers, okay, but it was started out of the MIT digital currency program, which is why Jeffrey Epstein had so much ties to MIT, because it wasn't just because he wanted to sit around and pay these people so he could sit around and talk and make himself feel smart. It was because he was setting up his first cryptocurrency, i.e. Bitcoin, which he started under a pseudonym called Satoshi Nakamoto or something like that. Yeah. So, which, guess what? How did we find out that Bitcoin was started by Jeffrey Epstein? We found that out in the fucking Epstein files. If you're looking at Epstein files, you can see how he sends an email to Ghislaine about how his pseudonym is working and Bitcoin is about to launch. And then if you just Google developer of Bitcoin, literally the name pops up and it says a mysterious man who was one of the founders of Bitcoin. Disappeared shortly after its launch. So like, literally cryptocurrency started, the whole thing was like sold about like blockchain and untraceable, and you can send money and get it out from under the banks and the government knowing where all your money is. And it was started so that they literally could have a global sex trafficking ring. And that's how like Andrew Tate, and it all tracks too, because like Andrew Tate and his brother, they made all that money on Bitcoin, and they were also sex trafficking, right? They got prosecuted in Romania, and Romania prosecutes the Tate brothers, but in America, they're welcomed into our White House. And that right there is just another reason why you can go, hello, ding, ding, ding. So I mean, America has a problem. America has a real problem. But the cryptocurrency thing, it is a Ponzi scheme. So not only was it founded by Jeffrey Epstein, so it literally, if you've ever invested, I'm so sorry to tell any listeners, if you've ever invested in Bitcoin or ever invested really honestly in any cryptocurrency, because these cryptocurrencies, they got you, but specifically Bitcoin, you basically invested in a global child sex trafficking ring. And there's really, I'm sure there's some good people who bought Bitcoin and they didn't do it on purpose. You know,
but it still sucks.
But the people who did start it did do it on purpose, right? And like, you just made these people so rich. And you know what? Maybe you got rich yourself off of Bitcoin. Maybe you got in and you sold at a good time, and maybe you got really rich. I would just work on giving that money away if I had invested in that and then sold, and then realizing that it was like all child sex abuse and stuff that it was funding. So anyways, back to Trump. The Trump family cryptocurrency company, World Liberty Financial, and related tokens like the stable coin, were the subject of scrutiny because of substantial foreign investment, including reported stakes from Emirati-linked entities, as reported in this Reuters article that I have. This was just published 4 days ago because news is just, it's literally hitting us in the face at like 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And so I try to like keep it like, like stuff that's happened very recently because maybe people didn't know about it. 2 Democratic Senate members of the U.S. Senate Banking Committee on Friday asked Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, God, he has such a punchable face, to examine the potential national security implications of a reported purchase of a $500 million stake in the Trump family's cryptocurrency venture by the United Arab Emirates National Security Advisor. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Andy Kim asked Bessent,
it's like just a way to launder money.
Just a way to launder money. Who heads the committee on the foreign so Senators Elizabeth Warren and Andy Kim asked Bessent, who heads the committee on foreign investment in the United States, to determine whether a CFIUS review, which is Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., is required of the 49% UAE stake in World Liberty Financial, and if so, to conduct a comprehensive, thorough, and unbiased investigation. In a letter viewed by Reuters, they asked Bessent to respond to several questions about the transaction by March 5th, including whether CFIUS had reviewed the deal in any form or submitted any recommendations to Republican President Donald Trump about it. The Treasury had no immediate comment on the letter. The transaction, this is a quote, the transaction raises significant national security concerns, end quote, the senator said in the letter. Warren and other Democratic senators have repeatedly raised questions about World Liberty Financial, which was founded 2 months before Trump's November 2024 victory in the U.S. presidential election, and potential conflicts of interest. The firm was announced by businessman Steve Witkoff, who is now a key Trump envoy, who flies to Russia, meets with Putin, that Steve Witkoff. Trump's aides have said he has handed over control of his business ventures to his fucking sons, who were just on an interview just yesterday trying to justify their World Liberty Financial. Anyways, that part wasn't in the article, by the way. That was just my 2 cents. Has handed over control of his business ventures, which are being reviewed by outside ethics lawyers. CFIUS is a Treasury-led interagency committee that vets foreign investments for national security risks, including top officials from the Defense, State, Commerce, Homeland Security, and Justice Departments. Warren and Kim said CFIUS had a clear mandate to address potential national security risks from foreign investments, including transactions that would allow foreign governments like China or the UAE to access critical technology or the sensitive personal data of U.S. citizens. Oh yeah, but TikTok, right? But TikTok.
The TikTok.
They said the reported deal raised questions about whether the UAE or China might be able to access any of the sensitive personal information that World Liberty Financial says it collects, they wrote. The Wall Street Journal last month reported that G42, a company backed by, I'm going to fuck this up, y'all, Sheikh Tanoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who manages the UAE's largest wealth fund and is a member of the Gulf nation's royal family, bought the stake in World Liberty Financial days before Trump began his second term in January 2025. Months later, the Trump administration approved the sale of advanced AI chips to the UAE. World Liberty is behind the stablecoin US dollar one, which is pegged to the US dollar and backed by short-term US government treasuries, US dollar deposits, and other cash equivalents. The company counts President Trump and Witkoff as co-founders emeritus. Co-founders emeritus, and is run by members of the Trump and Witkoff families. Warren and Kim noted that U.S. intelligence had long warned that G42 may have provided technology to assist China's military. So, Steve Witkoff and Trump are literally like, they are profiting. This is just.
There's been a whole bunch of instances like that. There'll be $5 million donated to a Trump campaign fund.
Yeah. And the Board of Peace.
The Board of Peace.
Now that they're like, oh yeah. And Trump is managing the money for the Board of Peace, by the way.
A big deal with a Trump business. and then something good happens.
Yeah. I mean, he's just and I mean, I would love to talk to
randomly makes a decision that benefits that person.
Yeah, like I would like I just don't see how people justify this like at all. I mean, it's just plain, it's just correct. It's blatant. It's corruption. It's blatant corruption, like literally right in our face. Out in the open, laughing all the way to the bank, talking about how dumb when people are like, and you know what?
Yeah. I mean,
I know.
Look at even the military things that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest import we have from Argentina? I know we gave them $40 billion for cattle, but what's our biggest import from Argentina?
It's oil.
Oil.
Yeah, oil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the largest oil reserve in the world, Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the fourth largest oil reserve in the world?
UAE, Qatar,
Iran.
Oh, Iran.
And guess what?
What's crazy is like the sun is free, y'all. If we could focus on some renewables, bro.
But you just look at that and you think the oil, but also when you combine that with complete deregulation, we just got rid of
the EPA.
We got rid of the EPA basically. I mean, it's still there, but
it's still there, but yeah.
But they're not
deregulating all kinds
deregulating of everything. What does that do? Increases oil consumption. Oil consumption has been rising, is about to spike. And in the meantime, while it's rising, getting that spike, our government is taking control of as much oil as we can, even if it means we're threatening war.
Stealing it and by like gun to the head kind of stuff. And like, yeah. I mean, it's just really, I mean, I don't know how we're ever going to recover. And the rest of the world hates us. And Canada is now going into partnership with like China and some other countries. And Canada is just about to be like, and what's sad is that we are seeing this and being like, this is bad. But because of the way trade works and how like the way things trickle down, I hate that term, but like I can't, I liken it to when I was in the wholesale mortgage business. When the market crashed in 2008, the impact began happening in 2006 for those of us that were in the wholesale mortgage business. Those of us that worked for Wall Street, we knew what was going on or what was going to be happening back in 2006. It took that long to 2008 for it to essentially trickle down to where it impacted the public at such a mass scale, right? It's the same thing that right now, like all of this shit and people that are still trying to defend Trump and making all these deals, the impact of our relationships with other countries, to include trade, will be impacted, but we're not going to see the impacts of that for 6, 12, 18, 24 months.
Yeah, it'll be a couple years.
Mm-hmm. And when we do see it, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And so he's just making, he's making all this money. And then you have, I just, I kind of I want to switch gears to the state a little bit, because I did an interview yesterday with the Virginia pilot, because there's, lots of people just like all up in arms about Governor Spanberger. Listen, she's doing what she was elected to do. And in addition to, trying to make things more affordable for Virginians, she also is looking out for workers and she's always been really clear, I think, in her position that she's not going to get rid of the at-will state. The fact that which I wholly disagree with. I think that I don't think we should be an at-will state. So Spanberger and I do not agree on that. However, $15 minimum wage, that passed both houses. It's on its way to the governor's desk to sign. Paid time off, on its way to the governor's desk to be signed off. And there's also paid maternity, I think, in like a supplement or something like that too, as well. And I got a call from I was referred by someone that had that the pilot was looking for a small business owner to talk to about their feelings about. And I was like, oh, this is my favorite topic. I love talking about this because we started paying $15 minimum wage in 2020. And my business now is a $17 minimum wage job. And we pay 100% of our employees' health insurance. I do have contractors and I do have W-2 people. And we also do profit sharing through paid time off with our contractors, which contractors don't normally get, right? So I talked to this reporter and I just explained, like, we've already done that. Like, if I believed in a $15 minimum wage, like, I felt like I need to put my money where my mouth was as a business owner, right? And I have a small company, right? I've got 8 employees and like 13 independent contractors. But what I do is scalable. So I don't want to hear anybody say like you can't do that with a large, company, because you can.
Well, and there's this pushed perspective that if you pay your employees more money, then it costs you more money to operate, and that's not a lie, right? If you it's going to cost you more. What they don't tell you is the whole other side of that. And I mean, Harvard's done studies about this, Gallup's done studies about this, is that companies that pay their employees more and give their employees more benefits, those companies are actually more profitable.
That's right.
Because the truth is, in so many ways, your biggest asset are your people that work for you. And when they make more money and they're more invested in their jobs and you have more tenure because you have less turnover, so you have more skilled employees that have a greater knowledge of what they're doing,
yep.
And are better at their jobs, it creates things like more customer retention and more loyal customers, people just coming in every single day. People make bigger purchases more consistently. Like
it's the foundation of our business.
You literally make more money when you invest in your employees. And so, yes, the concept of it costs you more to operate when you pay your employees money. Yes, that's true. The concept that it's going to make you less profitable does not pan out in the studies.
That is correct. And I mean, and that's and not only are there studies, but like I'm proof of that too. I mean, I haven't had to hire anyone for 5 years. The last time I was actively looking for someone to come in and train to work our front desk, our customer service, has been 5 years. We have tattoo artists that have worked for us for 15 years. And so I think that argument is it's coming from people who either don't own a business themselves, and have a good paying job, and they're just, again, simping for the empire. I mean, I think it's just low information, but people have a lot of opinions about low information.
They give you enough information to have the opinion that they want you to have.
That's right. Yeah. So that was fun. So I might be in the pilot. I don't, as she said that interestingly enough, I was the only business owner she had talked to so far in writing for the story. Because the other interviews that she's done for the story were like business associations. And she's like, yeah, and none of them are in favor of this. And I was like, well, yeah, because they think these associations think they speak on behalf of business owners. But like, how many of their business owners have ever actually sat down with them and told them, how they pay their people, or like, I'm happy to sit down with anybody and talk about it.
Well, and there's this weird, perspective that the goal is always to, invest the least amount of money as possible. Don't you win if you spend the least amount of money,
right?
And that's not the reality of how things work.
It's not how I want my business run. Like,
well, either. It's just not. Nothing really works like that. Like, you want to invest intelligently.
Yeah, we just dropped $12,000 on new floors after. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
investment is how you create growth. Lack of investment is how you remain stagnant.
That's right.
It just pans out like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that our clients come in and they see like improvements that we've made, or, I mean, my husband's in the studio working all the time. I mean, it's really kind of funny. He's like just always piddling around, you know, doing stuff. And like today I walk in, I was like, what are you doing over there? And he was like, oh, I'm just, you know, tacking up this, you know, cord that Ryan wanted out of the way by the jewelry cases. And, you know, he put up a, you know, sharps container on the wall that it, you know, needed to put up. And we just redid the floors, and we spent, you know, 12 grand redoing the floors, and because they needed done, right? Because did we have to? No. Dave could keep patching, repairing, covering it up with a, you know, whatever. And but no, like, because we are continually putting back on our business, because we look at that as like, we're so forward facing, right? Plus, you know, people want to be confident in the place they're coming to get tattooed. It's clean and all the things, right? You know? But I see, I mean, listen, you can just be a potato head and open a business. Like, you don't need to have, like, you can go right down to City of Virginia Beach City Hall, pay $50 and get a business and open a business. You don't have to have any qualifiers really, technically, to be self-employed in America. Right. And so a lot of people, like, they really like pedestalize people who own their own businesses. And don't get me wrong, I think, you know, my husband and I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and the people that have worked for us for years will tell you there's nothing that we haven't done, won't do, will do. I have scrubbed toilets in that place. It's not uncommon for you to come in and see me working at the front desk. I work for sure every other Sunday in there, you know. So there's nothing that I've hung drywall in our business. I've done stuff for our build out, and there's hard work involved when you know, and a lot of that was money saving, right? Because we were business owners and we were literally trying to save $1. So what we've used our own, you know, labor to do it. But there's so many people that manage people, and people's livelihoods are dependent on potato head business owners, and it sucks. And there's some business owners that are potato heads and they don't want to be a potato head, but they don't know how to get out of their own way. You know what I mean? Like, for years I've like, oh God, Melissa, you could probably go into business coaching, but I'm like, no, I don't want to pick up other people's headaches. You know, if I know somebody who's a friend that, you know, we've definitely coached a few of our friends who we were like, stop working for that knucklehead. Like, you need to open your own, you know, electrician business or whatever, you know, HVAC or whatever that was. Right. And so you can inspire other people to do good because they're seeing what you're doing, and like, they'll go out and be a small business owner. Right. But you still have to compensate the people that are helping you keep your business going. Right. Instead of having I'll just hire, you know, like the turnover rate, like you were talking about your job, you know what I mean? Like you're the longest that has been in the position you have for a while, right? You know, longer than a couple of years. And I don't know that that's because they treat you well, but, or, you know, but when you're treated right, you want to stay, but you should be, part of that is compensation. I don't care if you're like, you can be so nice, but also pay me.
I mean,
that's how I feel about it.
Your work supports everything else that's going on in your life.
That's exactly right.
It's not vice versa.
That's right. Yeah.
And so people, I mean, if you want good employees, invest in having good employees. If you want employees to stay and be dedicated to what's going on and put forth a lot of effort while they're on the job and all of those things, then invest in those employees doing that. People invest, you know, very much. Most people invest equally to the investment, you know, like, like for sure. Fucks are exchanged. You give me more fucks, I give you more fucks. That's the law of fucks.
That's right. You got it.
And so, you know, if you really want employees that will bring the best out of your business and put your profits as high as it can be, invest in having those employees.
That's right.
And if you don't, enjoy being a loss leader, because that's usually the end of the business world you end up in.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And like, miss me with your argument about Walmart and Amazon and all these prices that are going to be going up because people have to be paid a $15 minimum wage. Miss me these fucking billion-dollar companies that have like half of their fucking employees are, so underpaid that they have to qualify for government assistance, which please give them all the government assistance, but it's absolute bullshit that these companies are not paying these people an adequate wage. And we don't do or say anything about that. Right. But I do want to shift to a totally different topic, but still politics related. Redistricting in Virginia. Early voting starts March 6th.
Supreme Court ruled that it can go through.
Yeah. Yep. Supreme Court, right? Or the appeals court or Virginia Supreme Court said that, yeah. So it's a go. We can have our ballot referendum. I am concerned about turnout. So if you, between March 6th and April 21st, you can go to the polls and vote. And the only thing that you are going to vote for is a question on the ballot about redistricting the congressional districts in Virginia. I'm just going to say, listen, I'm voting yes. I'm going to also say that I do not believe that we should have to do this, right? Or we wouldn't be here, okay? We wouldn't be doing this if not for Donald Trump telling Governor Abbott of Texas, get me 5 more congressional seats. And then Texas immediately redrew maps in their state midway through the census, because if you don't know this, the United States, how it's done is there's a decennial redistricting thing that happens, and it's based on the census. So the census is like 2020, 2030, 2040, et cetera, right? So usually in 2021, we have to take the 2020 census numbers that we get in just to make sure that your districts are equal, like proportion, equal population-wise. Right. For your congressional districts. In Virginia, we have 11 congressional districts, 1 through 11. The previous maps were like a 6-5, I think, Republican versus Democrat. So 6 Republican districts that just the way that they were drawn, they predominantly have Republicans that, they usually vote in the majority there, right? And then the 5 Democrat, I think, I don't quote me here on the 6-5, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But what I do know for sure is that the new maps are 10-1. Yeah. They have been redrawn based on equal populations, and they are shifted towards Democrats, right?
Skewed heavily Democrat.
And then there's one congressional district, which is basically the entirety of Southwest of Virginia.
Yes, basically.
So, and that is a heavy red district, right? So we'll have one, if these maps pass, we will likely, unless Republicans, get out there and people just all of a sudden start voting Republican, right? Then that's way those they could shift. I mean, it's not a done deal. These are just hypothetical based on voting patterns, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that they are like our district barely changed.
It's all hypothetical. All of the seats made in Virginia could end up being red, and all of the seats made in Texas could end up being blue.
Listen, if people just all of a sudden change their voting patterns,
they're betting on the history, but
right, right, and like our district CD2 barely changed at all.
Yeah, barely didn't change at all.
It's a +1, so it's like a +1 Kamala, like what we were a +1 for Kamala. So it's basically that it's a +1 district now. So apparently Lane Lurie is big mad about the maps because it's only a +1, which means she's gonna have to fucking work.
Skew anything heavily in her favor. Yeah,
they didn't skew anything heavily in her favor. Now apparently the rumor is she's not getting AIPAC money because they have a friendly incumbent in Kiggins and sent Kiggins to Israel a couple weeks ago. So now she's not gonna have that pro-Israel money she was looking for. And she's just bad news all around. She wants the other candidates to just drop out so that she doesn't have to have a primary, and so she can just head to head against Kiggins. Even though she lost last time, she went head to head against Kiggins. Even though Elaine Luria outraised Kiggins by $7 million, they closed out that election with Elaine having raised $10 million and Kiggins raising $3 million, and Kiggins beat Luria. So I so strongly am against having Elaine Luria again. It's just more mediocrity. She's not even into it. You can see it when she's out talking to people. Like, she has no spark. She only got into it because she thought she could ride the blue wave and win. And now that she's going to have to work, rumors are that she's real pissed off about it, especially because she doesn't want a primary. And, you know, democracy, like, if Democrats actually care about democracy, they should want a healthy primary. Like, I want to see and talk to candidates. And sadly, the candidate that I really want to see has not unsuspended his race. But I certainly have been putting a lot of pressure on him to unsuspend his race, because I think a primary with him in it would be fabulous. I think the other candidates that we are currently in, they're great people. They're good. The messaging that they have isn't bad messaging, but it's not all encompassing messaging. And they don't have the riz, like, none of them. I mean, Elaine doesn't either, but she has name recognition and she was previously on Congress, right? And
she's generated a bunch of money.
And she generated a bunch of money, right? She's raised like $1 million.
You can
right?
buy a lot of riz.
Yeah, but she also submitted her financial reports, which also show her Nvidia stock, which used to be worth like $5 million, is now worth like $25 million or $20 million or some crazy shit. Those are from her most recent financial reports. So if we're gonna have, I don't care if there's, I would prefer to not have like a bunch of people in there, like, meaning like 5 I would prefer it be a really good head-to-head primary between two really strong candidates. Yeah, that's what I want, right? But Elaine's doing her best, and the establishment's doing their best to kind of bully people out, right? And I'm trying to get James Joseph back in, but back to the redistricting. This ballot referendum, the people have to say, yes, we want to do this.
Yeah, and there's at least Virginia put it on a ballot for voting.
Yeah, and
just like California. Did Texas do that?
Texas did not. Texas just did it because they basically have a super majority.
The Democratic states at least put it on a ballot for people to vote on.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and if it doesn't win, it doesn't win.
Because I hate it too. I don't believe in gerrymandering. I think this is, we're in the fight. So just like if you're in any fight, once you're in the fight, fight or get beat up.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. We wouldn't be doing this.
Once you're in the fight, it's, you're in the fight already.
That's right.
But I do believe it's not a fight we should be in, but we're already in it. So, right.
So we need to move. And listen, I have a lot of critiques or criticism, however you'd like to call it, towards the Democratic Party for their ill planning, literally the scrambling right now to get messaging out and a field plan and all that is literally they're scrambling. And I'm like, why haven't you been, what do you mean you're scrambling? You passed this back in October, and then you got it just through this most recent session for a second time, which you already knew you would. So why are you scrambling for messaging now? But anyways, we need to get people out to vote. My honest opinion, I think it's going to be a struggle.
A 50-50 chance.
I think it's it's a 50-50 at best. I think that it's going to be a struggle. One, because of turnout, obviously a random fucking April 21st, you know what I mean? Getting people to show up at the polls. And then the other thing too is that there are definitely Democrats just can't count on Democrats.
Republicans aren't going to vote for it.
Republicans aren't going to vote for it, and they're motivated to come out and vote for it because they don't want their district to change, right? So they're really they're organizing to make sure that they show up, right? And then there are Democrats who don't think that we should do this.
Yeah, that don't agree with the
that
fight.
don't agree with the fight. Like, they're like, I'm just going to let you beat me up. You know what I mean? And like, and that's okay. Like, listen, it's your, you know, if you want to stand on principle and whatever, stand on principle, virtue signal to somebody else. I don't fucking care. But
yeah,
I'm going to go, I'm going to show up and vote, and I'm going to vote yes.
If you'd rather have your honor than your basic human rights.
Right.
And
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're one of our listeners and you're one of those moderate people that don't want to vote, like, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. Like, don't do what makes you feel good. Okay?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of doing your best to stay out of the fight. But once you're in the fight,
it's like
try to win the fight.
Yeah, try to win the fight. You know, I mean, listen, like I said, I was just impressed with the Democrats got their shit together to actually pass it the first time. I mean, that alone was impressive. You know, I was like, oh, okay, maybe somebody is paying a little attention to something.
Well, yeah, especially right now because they can't decide on their messaging. They see this opportunity to, you know, re-grasp control in the midterms.
And
but
sniffing around Gavin Newsom and
but nobody can, you know, there's two different takes on how you take advantage of that opportunity.
Right.
One is basically become Republican. And say you're a Democrat.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And the other one is you know, do a new mayor in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Do a Mom Donnie. And lean full into being progressive.
That's right.
And there doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground. There's just
that's Republican or Mom Donnie progressive.
Yeah.
Like,
and so there's this.
It is.
There's a rift. There's a rift in the Republican Party over just how, you know, big a crap show the Trump administration has become, and the Epstein files and the mishandling of, you know, basically everything.
Yeah.
And so that's caused a huge rift in the Republican Party. And there's also a huge rift in the Democratic Party.
Well, because there's that blue no matter who, and I'm like, no. And listen, I would say harm reduction. Like, I was a person be like, you got to vote for Harris. Like, it's harm reduction, right? Which yes, if we had elected Harris, it would be harm reduction. We wouldn't even be talking about all these things that we're talking about, right? I don't know what the fuck we'd be talking. I'm sure we'd have shit to talk about because.
But it wouldn't have been about how we kidnapped the president or almost started several wars or threatened to take over Greenland.
Yeah, it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be all this stuff threatening Canada. Like, it's crazy.
It wouldn't be that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that. This last election, I was all about harm reduction, but now. Look at where harm reduction has gotten us. Still no better off.
Well, it's the difference between playing to win and playing not to lose, you know, and that's, I've said it before, our political system has been, maybe not always, but for a long time now, each political party's success has been almost wholly based on the other political party's failure. Previous to them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's just a constant.
It's never been actually based on what, for a long time, it has not been based on either party succeeding on accomplishing what helps the American people: affordability, addressing the income gap.
Because what would they run on?
All of those things, you know, all it's been is each party successfully failing in addressing the problems that affect the American people.
Right.
And the next party points out how the previous party failed, and that we then go, oh, well, I guess it's your turn to fail us again now. And in the meantime, rather than actually address the real problems or do anything to address the real problems, both parties just play to the philosophical feelings of their base to make sure that base, they still keep a big enough fan base to stay in the game on their down season.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's a great. It really, that's what it's turned into sport.
Yeah,
and you know, and
it's a sport where you win when your opponent fails, not when you win because you were good at it. Like,
we're good, right?
That's exactly it.
Early voting starts March 6th, which is only like a few weeks away.
If you want to live in a country that actually has 3 branches of government that
Yeah.
check and balance themselves, or at least two.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Or at least two. Yeah.
Go vote.
That go vote yes on the referendum. Yes. The actual election day for that, for the referendum is April 21st.
Yes.
So you have anywhere between March 6th and April 21st. You can go to your city registrar's office and to the website, and they'll give you early vote location information. And other than that, I think that's kind of a wrap for today.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us once again. We had a little bit longer show today.
Oh, we did. I know. All right.
Yeah.
Just because we haven't recorded in a while, so
Yeah,
we had a lot to talk about. See what happens.
See you soon, maybe.
That's it for this week's dose of national dysfunction.
If you learned something, got pissed off, or just laughed through the rage, do us a favor. Share this episode with someone who still believes that it can't happen here.
Follow us, subscribe, and hit us up on socials, because if you aren't at the table, you are on the menu.
This is the Dissent Agenda. Stay informed, stay loud, and stay in the fight.